Chair calls the meeting to order and asks for a roll call by the Commission Secretary.
Mr. Fiddler.
Here.
Mr. Shannon.
Here.
Mr. Love. Mr. Burridge.
Here.
Mr. Huckabee.
Here.
Mr. Alexander. Mr. Burgess.
Here.
Mr. Peterson.
Here.
Thank you for the roll call. The chair announces a quorum is present to conduct business and would hear a motion to defer item 42.
I'll make the motion to
Have a
defer.
motion
Second.
and a second. Motion passes, and we took everybody by surprise on that, so we didn't get to electronically vote on it. But if you guys will put item 42 up, we're going out of order a little bit, we will vote electronically also. All right, please vote after we didn't hear any discussion. Thank you. We're stalling now, and as usual, and I don't want to introduce anybody yet, but I do want to say we can tell in the audience, you folks that have orange in your closet all the time. But we're here talking about workplace safety. Don't get mixed up that it represents something else. Including the secretary director. Look, I know he's had that tie. That's not true. Well, we will welcome our new commissioner, Mr. T.W. Shannon. We're so happy to have him here. He's the most qualified member on the Transportation Commission there ever has been. He brings a wealth of knowledge from not only the private sector, from the legislative part of this business that will be, I hope we just don't wear him out. Whoever the commission is and staff, you know, don't lean on him that much. He's brand new up here, and he's probably would like a little breathing room, but we're excited to have you. Also, you know, I'm always going to have to introduce Gary Ridley. Everybody knows that, don't you? You know, when he and Neil are here, it's not only an honor, it's a tribute to you guys that are still here working at ODOT. And there's other former senior ODOT people that continue to work in the private sector and come to these meetings, and the state is fortunate to have them. And there's several of you guys out there. I'm not going to call you out and embarrass you, but your time at ODOT was appreciated. Your time in the private sector has helped ODOT and helped the state far beyond what most people will know, far beyond what most people will know. It's made the backbone of our transportation system stronger. It's helped us have better pricing. It's helped us keep on track. So I know Gary Ridley and Neil McCaleb and now Mike Patterson would not want us to make any fuss over them, but we will. Sorry. Appreciate you guys. We also have with us today Representative Kenton Potkowski from District 61, and we're going to ask him to make a few comments later on when we get to his item, but we're so fortunate to have him with us today, and he sits on the Transportation Committee, and he doesn't need an invitation. Everybody needs to tell him that and to make him feel welcome, that we all do this together and we're all in this together. The governor is going to attend our meeting today, and we're going to call on Secretary Gatz when he gets here. And I'm hesitant to go through the agenda any farther, but I think I will put the consent docket up. You've seen it. If there's an item in there that you'd like to talk about and pull out separately, we will do so and discuss it. Commissioner Shannon, we usually look at the consent docket, and if there's an item in there that any member wants to pull out and discuss separately, we take it out of the consent docket. So if you see something like that, there is a Scrivener's error item 43 about Craig County, the total surface cost is $119,786. That was discussed in the committee meeting previously. But if there is not a commissioner that would like to pull an item out separately, we'll hear a motion.
So moved.
Have a motion?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, please vote. The consent docket passes, and I'll recognize Secretary Director Patterson to introduce our guest, the good representative. Gats. It's hard. It's hard. He's speechless now.
It's going to take a little bit for all of us to get used to, Mr. Chairman, so thank you.
I'll just take my whipping later. Everybody knows you're bigger than me, so it won't be much of a fight.
Representative Patskowski had called to our attention some of the concerns that he had with one of the highways out in his district, and this is something that we work with him very carefully on, engage some of our personnel to go out and take a look at. Representative, I'd certainly make an introduction and invite you to the podium to address the commission.
Well, thank you, Commission, for the invite here. And thank you, Transportation Department, for granting, or almost, or we're really close to granting our request for the speed limit change on Highway 54. It stretches from Texoma to Tyrone, Oklahoma. It's already a 4-lane highway. To be honest with you, what gave me the idea was now Senator Murdoch. He, a few years ago, got Highway 412, which was a predominantly just a 3-lane highway, changed from 65 to 70 miles an hour. That is always a big deal to Panhandle residents that have to do a lot of driving. Just that 5 miles an hour saves them time, and that's a good wide road. It's going to be very safe. Really appreciative to Ron McDaniels for guiding me through this process. A big ol' attaboy to Ron. Look forward to working with him and you guys. Anything I can do. My experience with the Transportation Department has been very positive. So if there's anything I can do for you legislatively, some cleanup bills, some language, anything I can do for you in the future, I would be more than happy to do that for you. So thank you very much, and enjoyed meeting all of you today. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. And come back. No governor yet. Item 41 is the approval of the minutes.
I make a motion to approve item 41.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, please vote. The minutes have been approved. We've got through the consent docket. The good representative had got to talk, and I can't think of any more things to do to embarrass myself, to delay. Secretary Director Gatson, I had that planned. Y'all know that, don't you? Oh, mercy. Somebody give us a signal. We're going on. Okay. There's the governor. It's a pleasure to have the governor with us today. I'll recognize Secretary Director Gatz to introduce the governor.
Governor, we really want to welcome you to the Department of Transportation. We so very much appreciate your support for work zone awareness in the state of Oklahoma, and appreciate you coming and taking the time to visit with us and have a proclamation for us this morning. So thank you very much. And certainly some of the things that from a work zone awareness campaign standpoint that we want to recognize is in the last 5 years, we've had 65 people killed in work zones, and only 4 of those were ODOT employees. Ricky Nichols Jr. in our Division 3 office, Gerald Gray in Division 8, Gerald Warden in Division 8, and Gordon Pipkin in Division 7. And the real message in that is our workers work in an extremely dangerous environment, and they are out there every day in a work zone with traffic traveling through those zones at high speeds. But oftentimes, the folks that are in the most jeopardy and the most danger are the traveling public that are utilizing and traveling through those work zones. And we really want to emphasize the need for folks to really pay attention, put away distractions as they travel through those zones. Terry, are we going to, we have a PSA that we're going to talk about, or that we're going to show this morning, that really represents the kickoff to the Work Zone Safety Week, and we want to roll that out and announce it today. And the big push today is starting in April, and that represents the beginning of the National Work Zone Safety Awareness Week. And this really is designed to help us get the message out that you're going to encounter the summertime construction zones, which is our peak period. This year's theme, if you've noticed, out in the atrium is lines up with the Game of Thrones movie. We're calling it the Game of Cones. Safety always wins. Building on that popularity, and we're continuing with our overarching slogan, which is always your life matters, drive like it. Again, that reflects putting away your distractions and really pay attention to remind their drivers or everyday drivers that they're impacted by how they drive and the level of attention that they pay in work zones. And one of the problems that we have in work zones is simply folks need to slow down. Just pay attention and observe the posted speed limits, and be extra careful when you're traveling through. We've got some of our field employees here today representing their coworkers in the department, and we've got some folks with the Turnpike Authority volunteering to be the faces and voices of our work zone safety campaign. This particular campaign will run April 1, beginning today through the 14th. We've got a lot of messaging. We'll have 14 days of Work Zone Wednesday messages that have been extremely popular. We'll have a press event out here at Interstate 235 at the interchange on April 3rd. We've got a public outreach event where we'll have the throne set up in Woodland Hills Mall in Tulsa. The Skydance Bridge on April 8th over I-40 Crosstown is going to be illuminated in orange in honor of ODOT's fallen workers. April 9th, our Work Zone Memorial featuring the 61 metal ribbons in honor of our fallen ODOT workers will be displayed in Lawton. So we've got a pretty full agenda. April 10th will be Orange You Safe Selfie Day on social media. April 12th, public outreach event at Penn Square Mall here in Oklahoma, where again we'll have the throne set up, and various other social media and press events around the state. At this point, I'd like to, and I got a note here, Governor, that says you may have a special guest with you today that we'd like to recognize with your, if you're okay, before we proceed to the public safety message.
That'd be great. You know, my a lot of us are parents in here, and I've got 6 children, and so my second grader is with us today, Remington, and he's doing a project for school that he's going to be governor for the day. And so luckily his father is governor. So I've been taking him with me to all my meetings today and taking a picture, and I'm supposed to be texting those back as my wife's preparing and helping with, we'll print that out and he'll present his project tomorrow. So Remington, actually got 2 governors in the room. You've got myself and then the governor of the day. You want to stand up and wave at everybody, Remington? So it's fun for me to, take your son and children to work sometimes with you, and so thanks for allowing me to do that.
Thank you for being with us, Remington. With that, Terry, are we ready for the PSA?
Yes, or if the governor would
Governor?
like to do some comments, we could do either way.
Yeah, so I just wanted to be here and thank all of you folks for your service, and Secretary Gatz, so excited to work with you and give you the tools you need to execute your vision for us to be top 10 in roads and bridges. And so, the construction crews, to the workers, that play such a vital role in the infrastructure of our state. It's such a core function of state government as your governor, I want to make sure you have everything you need to be top 10 in roads and bridges. And we're going to have, as we modernize our infrastructure, we're going to have more and more of these work zones. So it's so important that we bring awareness to this. And when I pulled up and saw the memorial out front of people that had, been killed, is that correct? On our roadways, it just brings it home when you see how we have to slow down, we have to bring awareness to us. So thank you for that. And as your governor, I just want to make sure I lend my voice to this important issue, and because safety is so important for us. And then just a shout out to what ODOT has been able to do. If you think back to 2004, when we had 1,168 structurally deficient bridges, and now we're down to 132. And so we're going to continue that momentum, and now we're going to turn our attention to make sure that we are doing everything we can to make sure that paving conditions, road conditions, Super 2s. We're gonna set some aggressive goals through Secretary Gatz to continue to move this department forward and deliver great services and great infrastructure for the state of Oklahoma. So I'm just excited to be here with you guys. And we did a proclamation. Is it time for that? Sure, okay. Absolutely. So we did a proclamation. This is Work Zone Awareness Days, and so I wanted to present that to you, Secretary Gatz. For the state of Oklahoma here.
I would. The folks that are representing the Department of Transportation and the Turnpike Authority, if you guys wouldn't mind standing up and so we can recognize you. Okay, Terry, are we ready to run the PSA? We've got a PSA that's going to run.
Not today, buddy. You should have merged when you had the chance.
It's not a game. In a work zone, safety always wins. In the past 5 years, 65 motorists like yourself and 4 workers were killed in Oklahoma work zones. Show our workers that your life and theirs matter. Give work zones your full attention so you can save a life. Your life matters. Drive like it.
We ready for, would you like me to read the proclamation, Terry? If you wouldn't mind.
I think Secretary with the action safety people who are responsible for our drone are here also. Are they here?
Do we have somebody with action here that we can recognize? Jerry, if you'd like to come up and say a few words about your involvement, and we really, really appreciate everything that you do for transportation in Oklahoma and also for your help with this extremely important campaign.
Thank you, Secretary. It's a pleasure to be here today. And call mind not so much to our company, but to the public that we serve and the cause that we serve. Quite a few years ago, I testified before the Senate Committee for Transportation, and we were able, through that testimony, to institute the double fines in the work zone. And I thought it was doing a good thing. Well, my son came along a few years later with My Daddy Works Here, which was the drawing of a little girl. And through the eyes of a child, she was trying to communicate to the drivers how important it was to be able to slow down so that her daddy could come home safely. And what he said to me is, Dad, you had a really good idea, but you grabbed 30 inches too low. You grabbed for their wallet instead of for their heart. And so that's what I'm trying to do. Well, what you see out here today through his work, of course, the My Daddy Works Here was followed by the no cell phones in the work zone, and he is the architect. He took a napkin drawing that Terry gave him and turned it into that little display that we have today, hoping that somehow we can reach their minds and their hearts as they're driving through the work zones. Back in my day, all I had to do was wait for the drunks to go by before I could resume my activities in the evening. And that was pretty much during a finite timeline. But unfortunately today, those folks are distracted by cell phones 24/7, 365, and put all of these folks at risk every day. And so anything that we can do to cause attention to that, I mean, if we have to legislate it, which of course is going to be our last resort, I hope what we can do is get their attention, get their hearts, and get them to change the behaviors so that they can return home safely from work or wherever they happen to be and don't take any of us with them. Greg?
I think I chose this small straw when I did that. So no, I'm glad we can help, guys. I've been on the road since I was 19. I'm 43. I've seen a lot of nasty stuff out there, and if we can provide a little bit of fun, people always remember stuff when they can experience fun. You remember your vacation, but you don't remember what you did yesterday. So if we can kind of wrap a little bit of fun into what we do for a living, I think it matters. We're honored that ODOT allowed us to help. It's a big deal, so we really appreciate it. Thanks for letting us be a part of it. It matters to our guys. It matters to our customers.
Thanks.
Thank you guys for what you do for us.
Thank you. Wish you could stay longer. Item 47 will be presented by Mr. Tiegler, the engineering contracts, and he'll present 48 after that item.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Item 47 are our engineering contracts. I have one this month. It's a statewide, all districts. It's land surveying. We've selected 6 firms to provide on-demand land surveying. These firms are Carroll Surveying Services, CEC Corporation, Frontier Land Surveying, Heartland's Surveying and Mapping, Keystone Engineering and Land Surveying, and White Hawk Engineering and Design. These 6 contracts are an aggregate amount of $1.8 million, and I'll try to answer any questions. Approval is recommended.
Thank you for that presentation, Mr. Tiegler. Item 47, what's your pleasure? Have a motion?
Second?
Have a second, any discussion? Hearing none, please vote. Motion passes. Item 48, continue, please.
Item 48, I have 2 supplement contracts this month. Part A is Muskogee County and Commission District 1. We've previously authorized Cabinets Engineering to perform preliminary engineering and final plans for US 266. This supplement is for additional engineering to develop the final construction plans. The supplement not to exceed amount is $134,329. This project is in the 8-year construction work plan, and its scheduled let date is in 2021. Part B is Sequoia County, also in Commission District 1. We previously authorized Consor engineers, they were formerly infrastructure engineers, to perform engineering and final design plans for I-40 bridges over Vian Creek. Supplement not to exceed amount is $23,689. This project is as well in the 8-year construction work plan with scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2019. Approval is recommended. Try to answer any questions if you have any.
Department recommends approval of item 48.
Motion to approve?
Have a motion?
Second.
Have a second, any discussion? Hearing none, please vote. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tiegler. Mr. Leonard, as he's walking up, I remind you that item 49 are change orders with a cumulative total of $75,000 or less. And if any commissioner has a question about those, we can grill Mr. Leonard. If we don't, if there are no comments or questions regarding item 49, we'll move on to item 50. Are there any comments or questions? Thank you. Would remind the commissioners that this, as well as the other items on the agenda, have been discussed in subcommittees. Looks like nobody wants to agree on those, so we're going to let you present those that are greater than $75,000.
Yes, sir. Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. I'd like to present item 50, parts A through double G. These are the change orders on projects that have a cumulative total of change orders in excess of $75,000. They're presented for your approval, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Might note for Commissioner Shannon that these change orders include the incentive payment for finishing the I-235 work early by Allen Construction. Did a great job, and was it 180 or 183 days?
180 days.
180 days.
They actually finished in 186 days, but they earned the maximum incentive, which was 180, so.
That's bad negotiating on his part. Great project. I would mention, we wish you same success on the one that you're started. You've heard the recommendation from Mr. Leonard to accept these change orders.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. The motion passed. Thank you, Mr. Leonard. Ms. Helms will present item 51, the lettings.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Secretary, and members of the commission. Agenda item 51 is for the bid openings for the final June, tentative July, tentative August bid openings. The department requests and recommends approval of this item.
Secretary, do you have a comment? There's a historic project in this group, the fast lane project in Bryan County.
The project on US 69 in Bryan County, we've been working feverishly on the project there in Bryan County to make sure that we are addressing all the concerns that have been raised and working through some design issues still. Had a good meeting last Friday. The project is now on the June letting schedule. And again, we're working feverishly to make sure that we keep it on the June letting, move forward in a manner that addresses as many of the concerns down there that we've got raised currently, Mr. Chairman.
These large projects, just want to commend the department and how they've handled them. The I-235 project, the Norman project was a large project. This is a large project, but this is what you guys have become and come and done, and it's quite a feat, and we really want to brag on you. So, do you have anything else to add, or anybody else? You're recommending that we approve those
I
lettings.
request and recommend
So
approval.
what's your
of this item.
pleasure? We have a motion.
Second.
And we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, please vote. Motion passes. You can move to the item 52, item A and B. We'll take your description for both of them together and vote on them together.
Agenda item 52, Part A, is for a damage on June 14th, 2017. Nathan Mitchum was traveling southbound on US 169 in Tulsa County near Owasso. Ultimately, he caused damage to 6 sand barrels, costing $2,160. Mr. Mitchum was insured by Geico with a policy limit of $25,000. Geico is offering a pro-rata distribution of this policy limit, offering the department $849.90, leaving a balance of $1,310.10, which is not economically feasible to pursue. The balance is considered uncollectible. Part B, on January 28, 2018, Frankie Wright was traveling eastbound on US 70 in McCurtain County near Broken Bow, pulling a utility trailer. The utility trailer came loose from the truck, causing damage to the guardrail. The cost of the guardrail is $1,000. Mr. Wright was not insured at the time of the accident. However, he is offering $800 to reimburse the agency, leaving a balance of $200, which is not considered economically feasible to pursue, leaving the remaining balance as uncollectible. The department requests and recommends acceptance of both of these settlement and discharging of the uncollectible amounts.
You've heard the item. Unless you guys want to separate those out, either size, we'll hear a motion for both of them.
So moved.
Got a motion? One of you guys got to be a second.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, please vote. Motion passes. Thank you. Mr. Dales, item 53 is the awards from the March 14th, 2019 regular letting.
Good morning, Commissioner, Mr. Chairman. Item 53 are recommendations from that bid opening. It is recommended that the following items from that bid opening referred to by call order be awarded. That's call order 700, 710, 725, 760, 767, 770, 780, 782, 820, 825, 840, 850 with both alternates, 860, 885, and 895. This includes our recommendations for award, and your approval is requested.
You've heard the recommendation from Mr. Dels for the March 14th awards.
I'll make a motion that we approve.
We have a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, please vote. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Zels. Chair recognizes Secretary Director Gatz for his comments.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, first and foremost, I'd like to take the opportunity to once again welcome our newest Commissioner, Commissioner Shannon. We very much look forward to working with him going forward. But I'd be remiss if I didn't express appreciation and say thank you for the previous service of Commissioner Danny Overland. He was certainly a staunch supporter of the department, and we very much appreciate the service that he brought. At the same time, we look forward to again, the long future with TW, Commissioner Shannon, and our really anxious to make some progress. So, also, I'd like to express to this commission how much the department appreciates your support and your patience as we work through the transition and as we, again, work through a little bit of a law change and get to the end of making any new appointments that might occur. So we really appreciate your support and your patience while we work through that. Also, with the beginning of work zone awareness, again, we talk a lot about fatality accidents and things like that happen in work zones. But one of the things that goes unnoticed, and the men and women that we had in here with us that work out there every day are not just the accidents, but the close calls. And we have so many close calls out there where we've got folks working within feet of high-speed traffic every day. And I'd just like to take the one final opportunity to really encourage the public to slow down in work zones, pay attention to what's going on around you, observe the posted speed limits, and put away your distractions anytime you're driving, but especially when you're traveling through a work zone that has variable conditions, and really look out for the folks that are traveling through and working in those types of areas. So, Mr. Chairman, with that, I would be happy to answer any questions that the commission may have.
Do we have any questions from any of the commissioners?
I just have a comment. The video that we showed was excellent. I thought it shows the intensity of a driver once they get behind the wheel. I mean, we know really nice people that get behind a wheel and they almost turn into somebody else. They get intense behind the wheel, and it's almost a transformation. And that video kind of brought it out. Didn't show them before they got in the car, but I thought it was excellent.
Any other comments?
I'd just like to make a comment. I'd like to thank all of our contractors that work so hard in keeping the work zones safe, and their employees and stuff, along with the ODOT workers. We're very proud of you, the job you guys do, and we appreciate the contractors very much for participating in all these programs with us too. So thank you very much.
Further comments? Well, Secretary Director Gatz mentioned it, and I will also add my comments that ODOT's done a great job in the transition of each of the 4, 5 governors that I've been involved with. You guys have really done a great job making sure your new commissioners were informed and involved. I know you'll continue to do that. We want you to continue with our support, whether we're on the commission or not, because the winner needs to be the department and the state, and better roads, better maintenance, money spent more efficiently, with a higher level of safety going on at the same time. So you don't know how much you'll be appreciated. You know, if I could go down the list of everybody in here and say, please stand up and let us talk about you, I would. Because you guys have made a backbone that is very strong in a department that's doing a very good job. And I know everybody up here, whether we're sitting here next month or not, will be always supportive and cheering you on for your good work. And it's been an honor to work with each and every one of you. And just keep doing it, and embrace new ideas, and keep this state moving forward into the top 10 status. And Representative Potskowski, remember, you're always welcome here, no matter who's sitting up here. You're doing the people's business. If there's nothing else to come before the commission, we'll hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a motion. And a second. Please vote. I think we'll get a majority. We're adjourned.